Hi, I have been an online group leader for BSF for a couple of years, and I am making this video so that group members better understand the order of the fourfold approach. The first part of the fourfold approach is the discussion questions, and this is what you do during your private study time during the week. The second part of the fourfold approach is the group discussion time, which is when you get on Zoom and discuss the questions with your group. The third part of the fourfold approach is listening to the lecture podcast that corresponds with the lesson that you just discussed with your group. The fourth part of the fourfold approach is reading the notes that also correspond with the lesson that you just discussed with your group. Let's see how this works. For example, you will do your lesson 1 questions, then you will attend discussion group for lesson 1. After your discussion group time, you will listen to the lesson 1 lecture podcast and read the lesson 1 notes. Once you complete the cycle for lesson 1, you'll be ready to move on to lesson 2 discussion questions. After your lesson 2 discussion questions, you will meet and discuss them with your group during discussion group time. After your discussion group time, you will listen to the lesson 2 lecture podcast and read the lesson 2 lesson notes. After you complete the cycle for lesson 2, you'll be ready to start the discussion questions for lesson 3. The cycle continues through the year of BSF. The fourfold approach is structured this way because BSF wants the conclusions group members make and the questions they have during personal study or group time to be confirmed or answered by listening to the lecture and reading the notes. Let's see how this works on the website. When you get to the website, you will go to the My Lesson tabs. On the left-hand side, you will see the 4 parts: questions, group discussion, lecture podcast, and notes. They are also in the center of the page. First, you will do the questions for lesson 1. Then, you will do the group discussion for lesson 1. After your group discussion, you will do the lecture podcast for lesson 1, and you will read the notes for lesson 1. Once you complete the parts for lesson 1, you will go up to the top of the page and you will click the Next Lesson button. Now you are ready to start the questions for lesson 2. You will see at the top of the lesson 2 questions a reminder on the first day. It says read lesson 1 notes. Even though you are on lesson 2 questions, the first day reminds you before starting lesson 2 questions to listen to the lecture for lesson 1 and read the lesson 1 notes. The first day questions also give you an opportunity to respond to the lecture and notes of the previous lesson. There are 2 exceptions to the fourfold approach. The intro lesson, or lesson 0, skips the discussion questions and starts with group discussion. The last lesson, which is labeled Final Fellowship, does not have a lecture podcast or notes. As you work through your BSF study this year, I hope that this will help you remember the order of the fourfold approach. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask your group leader.